And now it's time for the Radio Rumble.
All right, we are ready to go. Congress seems poised to pass another two-week continuing resolution, which is affectionately known as the CR, in order to prevent a government shutdown, but they still can't agree on a budget. So what do the American people think they should do? For answers, we turn to our Radio Rumble from San Diego. We have Roger Hedgecock from Providence, Rhode Island, the author of Politics and Pasta, Buddy Cianci. Did I say that right, Buddy?
You sure did.
Buddy Cianci. And from Miami, we have Neil Asbury. Gentlemen, good morning. Good to have you here. You know, I think a lot of folks look at this with a serious dose of cynicism that, you know, we're still waiting to fund the 2011 budget. They're now trying to give themselves an extension through April 8th. Roger, let me start with you. What do you think the American folks think out there as far as what they're telling you on your show?
Martha, my listeners are very concerned that they're just nibbling around the edges of what amounts to a $4 billion a day deficit problem. This is huge. They've got to start doing something significant to this budget. As back after World War II, a Republican majority in the House cut 47% of the federal budget in 2 years, nearly half. This is what they've got to do now.
That's an astonishing number. Buddy, what are the folks telling you?
Well, where I come from, people think that the government is as dysfunctional as the Charlie Sheen family. You know, and when in fact you look
so good these days.
when you look back and forth at the tug and the pull that's going on, no one wants government on the installment plan. But there's such a philosophical divide, according to my listeners, between the right and the left, that they have to come to terms somehow. And the only way they're going to do that is to not pass continuing resolutions if we really and truly are sincere about wanting to close this deficit. Look, if 1% of the discretionary funding of Congress is cut out, over the course of 10 years, you'd make up over $1.5 trillion. But we're a long way between piecemealing it between $6 billion and $61 billion. What are we? This is the fourth or fifth time we're doing this year?
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt it is just barely even a droplet in the bucket, the numbers that we're talking about right now. Neil, you know, it's interesting. We've got a little bit of Tea Party action on this latest vote on the CR that's expected to take place today. You have Marco Rubio and Congressman Jordan, also speaking out, saying they're not going to vote in favor of this one. How much of a difference do you think that's going to make?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to make enough difference, at least this time. And as my colleague said, we just can't keep extending this out into the future. The American people don't want its government to shut down, but they want to see that its government understands the gravity of the problem. And it's not just a $14 trillion problem. If you take the federal, the state, and the local budget deficits, if you take the unfunded entitlements, the unfunded pensions, our national debt is more like $130 trillion. I mean, we've been on a spending spree that would make drunken sailors blush. Even the corner grocer knows you can't solve a debt crisis with more debt. And the best that the Democrats have been able to do is to come up with roughly 0.28 of 1%. 0.28 of 1%. I mean, if an American family has a $10,000 budget problem, they know they have to come up with more than $28 in cuts.
Yeah,
this is absolutely ridiculous what we're doing here right now.
You know, gentlemen, I want to get your quick thoughts, if I can. We'll go once around the horn on this issue. President Obama has not exactly, you know, taken the reins on this issue of the budget battle. He's hanging back and letting them kind of slam this out in Congress. Very different take than he had on the health care question. Your thoughts on that quickly. Let's go to Roger first.
Well, I think, Martha, we've got a passive-aggressive president. The problem here is he speaks intensely and passionately, and then he kicks back, goes golfing, and leaves it to Reid and Pelosi to do something about it. He was that way in health care, actually. He's that way now on the budget. We're not getting any kind of sane budgetary policies, as everybody else has said on this panel.
Yeah.
We're heading toward the cliff here, and nobody seems to be in charge.
Buddy?
Once bitten, twice shy. We all saw what happened to him on the health care situation when he tried to push the health care through, and the next election he took a shellacking. So now he's concerned about getting out front. But by the same token, he should hope for a government shutdown. I mean, you know, look what happened to Clinton. He can go take lessons on how to be a martyr from Clinton. Because after the government shut down in '95, you know, because Newt Gingrich did that kind of revitalized Clinton's career. Yeah. And frankly, Obama understands that. And what he's going to do is probably just stay out of it, try to make statements. Everybody, why can't we all work together? And but he hasn't shown any leadership on this. He's shown some leadership, but not the kind that you'd expect from a president.
All right, quick thought from Neil.
Well, first of all, President Obama is who he is. I mean, he really believes in big government. He believes in this social welfare state. I mean, after 2 years, we have to finally understand that he is who he is. And if you believe in these things, he is your guy. I mean, he seems to think he could ignore this problem away, and he can continue to spend until the cows come home.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Great having you all with us this morning. Tough issue. We'll see you taken up in Congress later on.